like any number of good writers, but now my big goal in life is to write like Paul Beckingham. And so Paul Beckingham's also written in this book, which is the first cup of hot apple cider. Spectacularly successful for a first-time book. World Vision picked it up and published 40,000 copies to run alongside their Girls' Night Out event. And following on the success of this book 3 years ago, we now have a second cup of hot apple cider. World Vision have very kindly picked up on this one again. And just to let you know, in the Christian publishing world in Canada, if you get a first publishing run of 1,000 books, 1,500, at a push 3,000, you're doing very well. 40,000 of these in addition to the first run. So this is doing spectacularly well. Much appreciated, and lots of warm comments are coming in. Some famous people have said nice words about it. Phil Callaway, the humorist, writer, says, "This book is easy to pick up and tough to put down. You'll love these stories of faith and love and hope. Thank God for second helpings," says Phil Callaway. Well, what's inside here? 37 writers, Canadians, who are Christian, mostly resident in Canada, but some who are not, have banded together to form this collection of heartwarming, encouraging words. We're coming to the season where it's good to sit by the fire and pick up a good book. Yes?
Yes.
I think so too.
Amen.
And this is a very good book to pick up because the stories are short, they're pithy, they're a mixture of non-fiction, fiction, poetry, and they have a feel-good, kind of warm, cozy blanket feel to them. So just to give you a little taste of something that I wrote, it's called "What is Thy Neighbour's Do Not Covet." And it's a reflection on the 10 Commandments, and the particular one is, "You shall not covet." I have never understood jealousy. I've considered myself to be immune from it. I've stood above it. Almost. As a child, of course, the green-eyed goddess bit me in a grasping, jealous moment at school in Glasgow, Scotland, aged about 6. I reached out and snatched a pair of cheap plastic sunglasses from a little girl in my class. She cried. I wore them proudly. When she loudly accused me of stealing them from her, the other children in the class fell silent in a heavy and accusing stillness, while hearing my carefully carefree utterance to my frosty teacher, they stared me down. They bore witness to my brazen, barefaced lie. "They are mine, miss," I insisted. Everybody except me, it seemed, knew with unassailable certainty that they were not mine. "Where did you get them from?" My teacher's serious adult voice rang through the deathly quiet room. Her fiery look pierced my heart. It evoked a pang of conscience and a shameful admission that I was no longer an innocent 6-year-old. I was, in fact, a thief. I felt doomed. "But I bought them at the wee shop, the wee red shop, down the road," I heard myself announce with unnatural confidence in my Glaswegian brogue. In that brief moment, I was convinced that I was convincing. My words sounded believable to me. I was apparently the only person in the room that day to be persuaded, and even then not totally. I knew the awful truth. It lay below the surface of my large and less than confident lie. In the next instant, I felt for the first time that I was standing outside of my own body. It was as if I were trying to gain some distance from the deceiving little being that I had so recently become. I stood with the children of the class, looking together in a wonderment of disbelief upon this young deceiver. Our fingers all pointed at him in disgust. We all knew that he had convinced none of us, not one. Neither had I convinced my teacher. She lifted those plastic glasses firmly from my nose, slowly and with a quiet intensity ringing in her voice in a way that truly frightened me. She spoke. "These are not yours, Paul." She said it definitively. She pronounced the truth in her heavy words. They crushed me, flattening my lies by the weight of their pure authenticity. I felt my cheeks blush in a flush of guilty embarrassment. Stinging tears coursed down my face like slow white-hot lava. My volcanic shame had at last erupted. It burned me inside out. In that moment, I learned that envy always leads at last to this. Having tried jealousy once, I did not like it. I have never wished to try it again. And yet, every time I think of Gerald, and to learn about Gerald, buy the book, and you can read it at home with a warm blanket in front of the fire with your feet upon your laptop. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.